So now we know more about Lola's new boss, the tech entrepreneur, J.J. Thompson. Tech and entrepreneur, two very important business words. Tech, of course, is short for technology. Make sure you don't pronounce it tech, which I hear from time to time. And entrepreneur, that is the British English pronunciation. Entrepreneur is how the Americans pronounce it. So what is the definition of an entrepreneur? What makes them different from other business people? Well, the dictionary definition is as follows. They are the owner or manager of a business enterprise who, by risk and initiative, attempt to make profits. The first key word here is risk. Entrepreneurs risk their money, their time, and sometimes their health. And the second key word is initiative. Entrepreneurs try to create something completely new. J.J. Thompson is described as a serial entrepreneur. And that means that he loves to start new businesses and then sell them, and then start another new business and sell that, and so on, because what he's interested in is the early stages of business creation. Now, you might have heard of the expression serial killer. These are people who carry out a series of individual murders. Well, you can also use the expression for serial entrepreneur. They carry out a series of business new ventures. And J.J. Thompson is a serial entrepreneur, S-E-R-I-A-L. So we meet J.J. at the beginning of his day. Have a listen to this paragraph again and count the number of phrasal verbs. Included in this paragraph is, in my opinion, the number one most common, most useful, most important phrasal verb in business English. So, listen carefully.
J.J. Thompson's alarm went off at 6 a.m., but he was already awake. He was visualizing the forthcoming day, running through all the issues that he had to deal with at his tech startup.
Okay, the first phrasal verb. The alarm went off. To go off. This is when a machine activates. So a bomb goes off. It explodes. A gun goes off. It fires. And an alarm goes off. It starts to ring. So these are the machines that are set to do something, and when that thing occurs, they go off. The second phrasal verb. He was running through all the issues. To run through something. This means to review or rehearse the details of a process or a sequence. So you're thinking about them, preparing them, like you might do in the car on the way to work. You run through the issues of your upcoming day. And this brings us to the third phrasal verb in the paragraph, the one that I believe is the number one most important phrasal verb in business English. And it is to deal with. Now, this means to take action in order to solve a problem. And that's really what business is all about, right? Taking action to solve problems. That's what people pay you for. So whenever your boss asks you about a process, use this phrasal verb. I'm dealing with it. Whenever your boss asks you about a problem, use this phrasal verb. I'm dealing with it. It's music to the ears of any manager. Right, let's find out a little bit more about J.J. Thompson, the man. We have some interesting vocabulary and expressions here, so listen carefully.
He was a gifted child, and his parents expected him to become a university professor. or a doctor, but he had other plans. He was a rebel, a misfit, a round peg in a square hole.
A gifted child is one who is naturally endowed with great abilities, normally intellectual or artistic abilities. They may also be called a prodigy. So J.J. Thompson was a gifted child. He was a prodigy. He was also a rebel, a misfit, a round peg in a square hole. Have you heard that expression before? A round peg in a square hole? Well, let me explain it to you. A peg is a short cylinder of wood that may be sharper at one end, and it's used for securing something in place, like a tent. So you would secure a tent with a series of tent pegs that are placed into the ground. And a round peg goes into a round hole in the ground. So if you have a round peg in a square hole, it's not going to fit, or it's not designed to work. So when you refer to someone as a round peg in a square hole, what you're saying is that they don't fit. They are not right for the task. And in a business context, you use it to describe someone who doesn't fit into a corporate culture. Like many entrepreneurs, JJ was probably never going to succeed in a corporate world. But as a rebel, a misfit, a round peg in a square hole, he can succeed in an entrepreneurial environment. He can disrupt traditional businesses and traditional ways of doing things. Listen to the expression in this paragraph that captures what entrepreneurs like J.J. Thompson do.
This experience convinced him that the status quo needed to be challenged. He vowed to be one of the crazy ones who changed the world for the better.
To challenge the status quo. It's a very popular modern business expression. The status quo is how things are. What has been established? Why are we doing things this way? Well, because we've always done them this way. That is the status quo. It's a preference that things stay the same. And it can be very comforting because it's easy. It doesn't require us to challenge ourselves. It doesn't require us to take risks and potentially make mistakes. The problem is, in modern professional life, if you don't challenge the status quo, someone else will. And you, your company, even your whole industry could be left behind. Let's talk more about core values. Have a listen to this again.
He had finally found someone who truly shared his core values, someone who could help him realize his vision. Her name was Lola Badiola.
What are core values? What are the core values of your company? Can you list 3 core values? Well, core values are what a company truly believes, what it's willing to fight for, what makes it different from its competitors. And these core values determine the day-to-day behavior of all of the company's employees. According to a report by the Harvard Business School, the following are the 3 most common core values for companies. Number 1, integrity. Number 2, customer focus. Number 3, teamwork. What do you think of these core values? Do they inspire you? Do they educate you? Well, personally, I think they are generic and boring You are saying that your company has integrity. Well, of course you have integrity. You shouldn't need to tell me that. I need more than just the word integrity. Of course your company is customer focused. That's the minimum that we would expect. I need more than that. Of course you believe in teamwork. Everyone believes in teamwork. That doesn't differentiate you from other companies. A company's core values must embody what makes the company unique, what differentiates it from other companies. And crucially, the words that describe these core values should be distinctive. They must be memorable, meaningful. They must create an emotional connection with the employees. If you want to communicate effectively as an ambassador for yourself, your department, and your company, you need to know your company's core values. And if you align yourself with these core values and you promote these core values amongst your team, you are more likely to succeed within your company. And that, my dear friends, brings us to the end of today's session. Now, we've reviewed a lot of vocabulary, phrasal verbs, and some business concepts. Why don't you have a listen to the chapter again? And make sure you join us for the next podcast. You can find out what happens when Lola arrives at her new company and how they treat her and the challenges that lie ahead as we continue to entertain you to a leadership level of business English. Until then, keep practicing and watch out for a man in a black Toyota Prius.